living anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that.
I'm a working class New Yorker. I love this city, and I give this city my all. Stay focused, no distractions, and grind. Arrested, dyslexic, rejected, now I'm elected. If you don't educate, you will incarcerate. I'm true blue collar, and I'm true red, white, and blue. I'm a working class New Yorker. I love this city, and I give this city my all. What did we accomplish? We have put $30 billion back into the pockets of working class people. More jobs are in New York in the city's history. More small businesses in the city's history. We dropped unemployment citywide, but particularly in the black and brown community, we dropped unemployment by over 20%. We got rid of city income taxes for working class families. We wiped out medical debt for low-income New Yorkers. This administration has been the most pro-housing administration in the history of this city. Moved more people out of homelessness into permanent housing. We're paying the college tuition of foster care children, giving them life coaches until they're 21 years old. We have increased the number of PK and 3K seats, more seats in the history of the city. We are having universal after-school program. We removed over 25,000 illegal guns off our streets. We have the lowest number of shootings recorded in the history of this city. We drove down transit crime and delivered some of the safest subways in history. We removed over 125,000 illegal scooters, dirt bikes, and ghost cars.
Come on. Yeah, come on. Make sure it's all into the
One of 6, raised in a single-parent working-class home. The dyslexic kid struggling to read, picked on by his peers, not taken seriously by his teachers. The rejected kid who sits at the back of the class with the garbage bag full of clothes thinking this may be eviction day. The one wrong move kid who finds himself on the wrong side of the law. What becomes of the kid? Dyslexic, arrested, rejected. He persists. He keeps going. He finds his voice. He rises. That kid who struggled turned his pain into purpose, making a commitment to build a safer city where no child suffers like he did, with a focused mission to get stuff done for working class families like the one he grew up in. Reopening the city after COVID, boosting the economy to record heights, and breaking the all-time jobs number again and again, including the highest number of small businesses in city history. Keeping New York the safest big city in America by driving shootings to record lows. Removing 25,000 illegal guns from the streets, bolstering subway safety, and shuttering more than 1,600 illegal cannabis shops. Transforming the housing landscape with City of Yes and other historic housing initiatives that will deliver more than 433,000 homes citywide. Putting $30 billion back in New Yorkers' pockets with programs that address the cost of living crisis by saving families thousands of dollars each year on childcare, rent, internet access, medical debt, and more. Improving quality of life by containerizing the city's trash. Removing thousands of scaffolding sheds and launching the country's largest outdoor dining program. Helping thousands of New Yorkers in need connect with mental health services and housing when no one else had the guts to do what was right. Launching universal dyslexia screenings for all public school students and fundamentally changing the way children learn to read and do math. Successfully managing the unprecedented arrival of more than 240,000 asylum seekers and ensuring that they received shelter and support as they sought a better life for themselves and their families. All of this, and so much more. That is the story of the last 4 years of an administration filled with tireless public servants who never lost sight of where they came from or fighting for their fellow New Yorkers. A working class administration led by a working-class mayor, delivering for working-class people, making the city safer and more affordable for the next generation. So, what becomes of the kid, dyslexic, arrested, rejected, and now elected? He becomes the 110th mayor of the city of New York, Eric Adams, and he leads the greatest city in the world.
Okay. Okay. It's a great summary of a life well lived. And, you know, I was telling the team earlier that no matter what happens, I'm hoping that a migrant asylum seeker parent, I'm hoping the parent that lives in NYCHA, a parent that lives in one of our homeless shelters, a parent that is going through a terrible time. I'm hoping that a parent sees that and says that, understands that a bend in the road is not the end of the road. As long as you make the turn and as long as you inspire love and commitment in your child, they can go on. Mommy never gave up on me, never. She always believed, and there's so many mothers out there that they have never given up on their child. You know, they sit in courtrooms when their child is arrested. They take that long trip upstate to visit them in state penitentiaries. They sit in hospital rooms when they go through a horrific moment. They sit in graduations and just pray and hope that their child can have an opportunity. And that's what we've done. We've given those opportunities, and you can critique it as much as you desire to do so, but the numbers don't lie. And yes, you know, you have to take the totality and the full scope of the persons. Marsha Kramer asked me the other day, what's the difference between you as the mayor and you as the individual? None. Unfiltered, perfectly imperfect, no telling what I'm going to do and what I'm going to say at any time. I am just Eric. And probably in the history of time as mayor, so many mayors want to be filtered. They wanted to pretend who they are and act like they are perfect. I am not. I am that third grade dyslexic child that went through a hard time but had a loving mother and a loving family, and that allowed me to overcome all obstacles. And I know that gets some of you upset. I got it. I understand that. But we did it. We did it. And move me out of the way for a moment. And just look at these folks. These are ordinary people. You know? These are ordinary people that did extraordinary things. And all that they had to go through with their families, their loved ones, having constantly under criticism. You know, I was telling them in the room, why are you still with that mayor? Why are you hanging on? And they did. They did. And just a special thank you. I just got to say a special thank you to Suzanne, Jeff, Randy, who am I missing? Am I missing Adolfo? You know, in the midst of it all, when things seemed like they were falling apart, you know, when I had 4 deputy mayors walk out the door, and people were crossing their fingers, burning candles, praying that this is the end of Eric Adams. These guys stepped up. They said, we love this city, and we're going to be there. We're going to stand with you, and we're going to keep the work done. You know, go back and look, as Fabian was telling me the other day, go back and look at the day that I was indicted. Every quarter we dropped crime. Every quarter we built more housing. Every quarter we improved our reading and test scores. Every quarter we saw different initiatives roll out. We didn't stop. What an American and New York story. Because in life, things are going to come at you, and you have to be prepared for it. And many are quick to point out when I'm the first in. You hear it all the time. I was just reading the other day. He's the first man in the history of New York to be indicted. Well, how about the first mayor to have visited Rikers Island and speak to inmates in prisons than any other mayor. The first mayor to do dyslexia screening. The first mayor to bring down crime to the record levels that we have. The first mayor to build more housing than any man in history. And we zoned the city for 433,000 units of housing because of what Adolfo has done. More housing of 12 years of my friend Michael Bloomberg, 8 years of de Blasio combined. So we're going to do the first. Why don't you give me some of my other first? Let's talk about my other first. First mayor to put high-speed broadband in NYCHA, who was being denied for years. First mayor to have 5 women deputy mayors. First mayor to have a women police commissioner. 2 times. First mayor to have a Dominican deputy mayor. First mayor to have a Filipino deputy mayor. First mayor to have a East Indian deputy mayor. You know, first. Don't stay on one first. Talk about the first mayor being indicted, but damn it, don't miss the other first that this mayor has been able to accomplish. Have it all come together. Because that's how you record history. History is not selectively picking out one piece that fits into your narrative. History is showing the totality of what an individual does. And that's what we have to do here. That's what this time capsule is about. I'm handing over a city that the next administrations to come can build on. We had a city of no, and we built a city of yes. And yes, you want to do it again. You love to say, well, let's have 4 more years. Yes, you got that. I got that. But it doesn't take away mommy's ability to raise a mayor no matter how many terms I'm able to accomplish. And I don't know no mayor that don't want to go home at the end of their term. But I do. I'm ready. Did what I had to do. I left everything I had on the ice, and I'm looking forward to the next step of my journey. And I'm leaving back a proud record for all of us New Yorkers. And so when you look around this rotunda, you see a historic administration, period, not based on my opinion, based on the numbers and based on the fact. An administration that looks like our city. The most diverse administration in the history of this city. I proved that women, black and brown, can lead the most complex city on the globe. I proved it, and we've done it. Public servants from all 5 boroughs, all over the city. Our public service are from every neighborhood and every community. People who got up before the sun rose and stayed up long after it's set to get stuff done for their fellow New Yorkers. I showed how we can have compassion and humanity at the same time. I'll never forget standing next to Commissioner Castro as we watched the first buses come into Grand Central, into Port Authority. I'll never forget spending the night inside a Herc, talking to those newly arrivals, believing they would be left behind and saying to them, I'm not going to leave you behind. And all those who criticized me did not spend one night there, did not meet any buses, but they were able to tell us what we've done wrong when in fact we had 237,000 migrants and asylum seekers that came to the city, and 90% of them have taken the next step on their journey because of this administration. And I want to reflect on where we were 4 years ago today and think about where our city was too. We were still reeling from a generational pandemic and a global recession. Crime was rising, our economy was falling, and I promise you that we would bring our city back from the brink and we would get stuff done for New Yorkers. Our first order of business was to bring down crime and make sure our communities were safe. We put thousands of police officers on our streets and took tens of thousands of illegal guns off them. Because of our cops and our counselors, our commissioners and our public servants, America's first, important city was the safest big city, and it got even safer. Today, I can report to New Yorkers that we are leaving with the fewest number of shootings in recorded history under our administration. Great job. Fewest number of shootings. Promised that I was going to make this city safe, delivered on making this city safe. We overhauled our city's approach to homelessness and finally got New Yorkers with serious mental illness the help and health care they needed. There is nothing dignified about walking past people living on the streets. I don't care what anyone states. It was not going to happen under this administration, and it did not happen. And I told you public safety was the prerequisite to prosperity, and that if we drove down crime, we could drive jobs up. And I want to thank Deputy Mayor Kaz Daughtry and the work that you have done innovating our city over and over again to ensure all of our law enforcement agencies came together. And what we've done about jobs, that's exactly what happened. We broke the records on the most jobs in the city. Not once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, but 12 times. More jobs in New York in the history of the city. And the more small businesses in our city's history. And then we continue to do it over and over again. We invested in cutting-edge industries like artificial intelligence, cultural engines like our museums, and generational events like the 2026 FIFA World Cup. What Lori Cumble did as a commissioner, she baselined the funding in our cultural institutions. They've been trying to do this for years. We knew it wasn't enough. We had to make it better than ever. And we tackled generational issues that were holding working people back. After 60 years of diversions and delay, we passed the most pro-housing legislation in city's history. And created record amount of affordable homes. We turned New York City into a city of yes. People said we couldn't do it. Dan Garodnick, the entire team over at HBD, we got it done. Everyone said no, we said yes, and we got it done. And we didn't say yes to more housing, more affordable housing. More affordable housing. We cut the cost of child care, launched free universal after school, and increased the number of kids in early childhood education to record levels. Melissa, great job over at the DOE. I know you're here somewhere. And let's talk about affordability. We wiped out medical debt.
Woo, that's right.
Number one cause of bankruptcy. Wasn't a bumper sticker for us, a slogan. We put $30 billion back in the pockets of working class people. That includes paying off college tuition for foster care children. We knew what was happening to them, aging out 600 to 700 every year, going into a dark place. And we said, no, we're going to be there for you. Not only paying their college tuition, not only giving them a stipend, but also giving them life coaches until they're 21 years old. That's what you do when you really care about people. And how about this? No tax for low-income New Yorkers. No tax for low-income New Yorkers. Never been done before. And we got it done. And Jack Jihad over at OMB figuring out how to constantly bounce these budgets with an $8 billion deficit and leaving our city with more in reserve than the history of the city. And, you know, when you really want to understand what putting $30 billion in the pockets of New Yorkers mean, it means you think about low-income families. You think about Dr. May Adams, making ends meet, trying to figure out how do you feed 6 children. When 2 parents are working their hardest to raise 2 kids, pay their bills and get ahead, we knew we had to do things to cut their costs. That was our whole mission. We cut the cost of subsidized child care by more than 90%, giving them a place to send their kids during the day and saving the family $1,200 per year. $1,200 per almost close to $1,300. We expanded the earned income tax credit and got rid of city income taxes, as I stated. That's saving another $880 a year. So $1,280, $880, you're talking about over $2,000 a year. We wiped out their medical debt from the emergency visits a few years ago, giving them another $1,800 in average back in their pockets. We increased the threshold for those who qualify for fair fares, saving them another $780 each year. And through just 4 of our initiatives alone, we gave them back nearly $5,000 a year. That's the creativity. We cannot control the price of bread, but darn it, we put bread back in the pockets of working class people. And I want to see other people do that. Don't talk about it. Get it done. Get it done. Promise made, promise kept. We transformed the way our students learned to read and write and drove lifespans back up to 83 years again. When I met with the former Commissioner of the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, and we sat in our room, and he stated that we need to raise the life expectancy because I was impressed by Bloomberg's ability to raise it by 3 years. We said, let's try to get it to 83 years life expectancy in 5 or 10 years. It was one of the two. And I think it was 10 years. We didn't do it in 10 years. We did it in 4 years. Right. In 4 years. And in fact, our 83.5 is the highest life expectancy the city has ever had. And not one of you don't know how much I hate rats. We brought down rat complaints. Remember, Commissioner, when we were talking about containerizing garbage? People told us it was going to take 5 years to containerize garbage in the city. And I said, Commissioner, we have to beat that. You know that? 75% of our garbage is in containers right now because of what we've done. She created a new garbage truck. We created the bins. And now we're going to move towards a completely containerized city. And we saw rat complaints go down. Our rat czar, Captain Karate, I want to thank her for her commitment that she did. She was focused. Scaffolding, what we did around scaffolding in our building. A lot of people say you're going to snap your fingers and get them down. Yeah, okay, we'll see. You know, listen, this was real work to get those scaffoldings down. And so 4 years later, I can say with confidence, New York City has never stood stronger. Our economy is stronger, 65 million tourism. Our nightlife, because I was a nightlife mayor where you saw waiters, cooks, dishwashers, busboys and girls. They were re-employed because I went out there and told New York, let's get our swag back. And a $30 billion industry recovered, and now it is as healthy as it has ever been. By nearly every measure, our city is safer, stronger, and more prosperous. And none of this happened by accident. These wins were the result of smart, focused leadership, not being distracted, common sense thinking, and reasonable, responsible solutions, even our pegs. Everyone criticized us when Jock put our PEG program together, and we saved $7.2 billion. The price tag of our migrants and asylum seekers was over $8 billion, and may even be close to $9 billion. Think about if we didn't do those pegs in 2022, where we would have been. We were smart, and we were dedicated, and we were fearless. We did not allow all the naysayers who have never done anything tell us how we were going to do something. We got stuff done for this city. And so I want to thank these public servants. They're representatives of the people here in their agencies. And let me tell you, every one of the 320,000 New York City employees had different views on me. Some gave me the thumbs up, and some gave me other fingers. But they did their job. That's all you ask. This is not a popularity contest. It's not a contest of do you like or dislike. This is a contest, can you deliver for the people for the city of New York? And that's what they did. And these commissioners behind me, they led them to the fight. And a good general don't send your troops into battle and ask how was the war. You lead them into battle. I led the city into battle. I went to the homeless shelters. I visited people who slept on the streets. I responded to the crime scenes. I walked into our schools and talked to our young people on what they needed. I traveled to Rikers Island and spoke with inmates and correctional officers. I went to Washington to fight for us so that we could stop being onslaughted by failed national policies around migrants and asylum seekers. We were on the front line. These are the generals, and we led. And what we did, others will have to duplicate in a real way. And so I say to the mothers out there and the fathers, people like Dorothy Mae Adams, who serve their families. You just want healthy children and families. That's all you're asking for. You don't want to walk out your door and see tents on the streets. You don't want to see little boys and girls standing on street corners selling their bodies because we said prostitution is fine and sex trafficking is okay. You don't want to be taxed based on your race. That's not who you want to be. You want a city that appreciates and respects you, where people don't stand outside your houses of worship and yell and scream at you. You want a city that's brought together like we have brought the city together. And so to moms all over the cities and dads that never stopped fighting to provide for your families like she didn't stop for ours. For the last 4 years, we have never stopped fighting to do the same for New Yorkers and their family. And that's been inspiring, exhilarating, and unforgettable. It has not all been rosy. There's been ups and downs. And when you look from the outside, you think that all our team may have done is frown. No, we laughed a lot. We leaned into the work. We knew what we were fighting for, and we stood firm and we stood tall. These are some of the finest people that I have ever met in my life. And they were not yes people. They didn't sit around every day and say, this is what you asked for, man, this is what you're doing. No. They questioned, they pushed back. But when we broke from the huddle and went to the line of scrimmage, we moved as a team and as a unit. And yes, some, they were inside. Some we inherited, some we knew, that prayed that we would not succeed. But we did. We got stuff done. And I would tell the team all the time, when someone would slip and leak something to Chris Summerfeld to write something bad about us, yeah, I see him over there, write something bad about us, I would tell folks all the time, that's just one person. That's not who we are. Don't allow the numerical minority that's among us that want to destroy what we're doing, don't allow them to get in the way of what we're doing. The overwhelming number of us saw what we were doing and we were willing to accomplish. There will always be haters, and our haters will be our leaders. There will always be those who would dislike us. There will always be those who hate themselves so much that they just want to be destructive. And that's the message that we come out of. We know who we are. We know what we're made of. And we prove to New York is what we could do. So a permanent record of our work is going to be left for the city. The time capsule will be sealed and buried right here for New Yorkers to open in 10 years. And look back on one of the most transformative periods in our city's history. I'd like to have each of our senior leaders step forward and place an object into the time capsule. And I'm going to start with our Chief of Staff, Deputy Mayor for Administration, Camille Joseph. Her story is a story that has always inspired me when I hear of her story. And from the beginning to the end, you rode with me. Never stop. Never stop. You rode, you dug in deep, and it's hard working for me. But you were so committed, and New York is a better place because of what you have done. This mother immigrant from Trinidad is now the Chief of Staff of the most important city on the globe. Chief of Staff.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. My name is Camille Joseph Arlek, and for nearly 3 years, I've had the distinct honor of serving New Yorkers as Deputy Mayor for Administration and Chief of Staff. As we reflect on our tenure, our team should be proud of what we have accomplished together. My team and I have worked hard to connect New Yorkers directly to essential services through countless community-oriented programs and events like this summer's Benefits on Your Block, to advance quality of life initiatives by leading, supporting, and strengthening programs like Community Link, to lead the city's rodent mitigation efforts by establishing a dedicated urban pest management team, to save the New York City AmeriCorps program from federal funding cuts, to enhance performance and efficiency across the city's 300,000 member workforce, and our list goes on. For all the work that my team and I have shepherded and led, one effort stands out for both its scale and complexity, and that is our city's response to the asylum seeker crisis. Since the spring of 2022, New York City has successfully managed an unprecedented international humanitarian challenge. We opened more than 260 shelters and served nearly 240,500 migrants from 160 countries. We sheltered, fed, clothed, educated, vaccinated, and supported new arrivals through a Herculean effort, which has allowed more than 86% of migrants and asylum seekers to take the next step in their journeys. We established the first in the nation asylum application help center, which completed more than 140,000 applications for work authorization, temporary protected status, and asylum. We launched the largest coordinated network of municipal immigrant legal services and community support in the country, investing in 29 immigration legal support centers that provide high, free, quality legal assistance, and our work continues. This has truly been a whole-of-city endeavor, bringing together our agencies, private sector partners, community and faith leaders, nonprofit providers, and everyday New Yorkers to help our newest neighbors find their way. Our work on this front revealed the very best of our city. I have personally witnessed countless acts of kindness, humanity, care, compassion, and love, memories which I will take with me long after I leave this role. My hope is that the infants, young children, older adults, single individuals, and families that we have helped over the past 3 years, each seeking a better life, will continue to contribute to the rich fabric of this city for generations to come. As an immigrant from Trinidad and Tobago, whose family came to this country for opportunity, I look forward to a future when perhaps someone we helped might also have the opportunity to run the greatest city in the world. When a migrant enters city care, they are issued a humanitarian emergency response and relief center identification card. Today, for this time capsule, I am adding one of those cards. It features the Roosevelt Hotel, a place that came to symbolize New York City's response to the asylum seeker crisis and served as our 24/7 arrival center from May 2023 through June 2025. And now I'd like to invite up Deputy Mayor for Communications, Fabian Levy.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Fabian Levy, and for the last 4 years, it's been my privilege to lead communications for the city. First as press secretary to the mayor, and for almost 2.5 years as deputy mayor for communications. When the mayor asked me to take on this role, he made the mission clear. We needed to use every tool we had to reach every New Yorker in every community. For me, that mission has been personal. Growing up in a community full of immigrants, like my own family, I saw firsthand how important it is for government to reach people where they are, and the dire consequences when government doesn't even try. That's why we worked hard to connect and communicate with every New Yorker and to make sure they knew about city services that could make life more affordable, as well as the emergency information that could help save their lives. We didn't just conduct more than 2,600 open press events and over 850 interviews with media outlets. We assessed the landscape, broadened our approach, and met New Yorkers where they were. The Adams administration was the first to shine a light on communities long ignored in the city, raising the flags of different nations along the American flag, visiting places of worship, speaking directly to ethnic community reporters who never had the opportunity to cover their city government from City Hall. We also launched a new podcast and radio program so that New Yorkers could hear directly from the mayor, and we created a new Hear From Eric newsletter, multiple WhatsApp channels, and a Text with Eric texting program to send information on events, announcements, and opportunities to New Yorkers. But the mission wasn't just to communicate to New Yorkers, we had to communicate with them. One of the things I'm most proud of is that a number of these different platforms allowed us to have a dialogue directly with New Yorkers who let us know about family members who needed housing and mental health help, friends who needed jobs, parks and street corners that needed to be clean, and so much more. Because of our communication channels, we were able to talk with New Yorkers, hear their problems, and take immediate action to help resolve them as we got stuff done for 8.5 million of our fellow New Yorkers in the languages and manners in which they understood the solution. When I look around this rotunda, I can't even count the number of commissioners and their staff I contacted about an issue we were texted about, heard about on our radio program, or learned about through another channel. And when I think about all the work to modernize and digitize communications, to expand access and deliver information, it's clear that the Adams administration functioned as a prism. Light enters a prism unchanged, but it must bend to pass through. At each surface, it meets resistance, and sometimes reflection, sometimes refraction. Not rejection, but redirection. Inside the prism, light turns. In fact, sometimes it discovers paths it never expected to take. Only after these turns does the light emerge, not weaker for having changed direction, but richer, separated into colors it never knew it carried. So it is with our administration. We were shaped by the angles we met, and what may have felt like the light being reflected may simply have been how we were shining more fully. Like a prism, we made certain that the clear messaging and directives from City Hall were translated into the spectrum of cultures, languages, and lifestyles represented across the 5 boroughs, while at the same time listening to those same people and gathering feedback. We then distilled what was universally important to everyday New Yorkers, came up with solutions, and continued our dialogues with New Yorkers in different languages and through different platforms. There was no one way to describe how we spoke to New Yorkers. No, in fact, like a prism, the angle of incidence equaled the angle of reflection, the manner in how we communicated. Before I end, I want to thank everyone who made our progress possible, from our agencies to our City Hall team, and especially my communications team who worked longer hours than anyone else. But thank you especially to Mayor Adams for the chance to serve the city I love and be a small part of leaving behind a legacy we can all be proud of. I'd like to also thank my family, of course. I'm humbled to have had the honor to serve. Thank you. And next, I'm going to introduce DM Anna Almanzar, the Deputy Mayor for Strategic Initiatives.
Well, good morning, everyone. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
My name is Ana Almanzar, and I have the great honor to serve as Deputy Mayor for Strategic Initiative. I am holding, right here, if you can see it, a graduation tassel. Oops. I knew that would happen. A graduation tassel moves only when you have earned it. And this one represents the hard-won progress we've made for the families of the city of New York to ensure that the next generation has the support, the stability, and the opportunity to earn that tassel. We invested $331 million to expand after school for all. Yes. Woo! Thank you, Randy. Bringing the total to $755 million. We committed nearly $600 million to early childhood education, and we opened college savings accounts for more than 280,000 students. Yes. Laying a foundation for their lives long before they ever step onto a campus. When we open the time capsule in 10 years from now, children in our child care programs will move from elementary into middle school, and students in our after-school seats will be finishing their college careers, entering futures full of possibilities. For parents and students alike, graduation is a magic hour. It's filled with glory, a moment where we look back at our education for one very last time. Mayor Adams, serving the city has been an entirely new education, and everyone in this administration deserves their own tassel. Thank you, Mayor Adams, for the chance to give back to the place that gave my family and I everything. It has been the greatest honor of my entire life. I have given it my all. It is my honor to introduce DM Tiffany Raspberry. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tiffany Raspberry, and I serve as Deputy Mayor for Intergovernmental Affairs. A guiding principle of this administration has been improving the quality of life for all New Yorkers through practical, common-sense solutions that put public health and safety first, especially when it comes to protecting New York City's children and families. When Mayor Adams took office in January of 2022, the city was still emerging from COVID, and illegal cannabis shops were everywhere. One of the first things I noticed when I arrived at City Hall on that morning was a 24-hour illegal marijuana shop on Broadway, clearly visible from City Hall. These shops were selling unregulated products and putting children and families at risk. So what did we do? We went to Albany to fix it. And we worked with Governor Hochul, Majority Leader Stuart Cousins, and Speaker Hastie, and our Albany partners to pass the legislation that created Operation Padlock to Protect. Since then, over 1,600 illegal cannabis stores have been shut down, and more than $95 million in illegal products have been seized. This work was part of a broader set of major legislative wins delivered through our work here in New York City, in Albany, and in Washington, D.C., including passing 4 on-time city budgets, strengthening mayoral accountability, advancing critical housing and affordability initiatives with the passing of City of Yes, stabilizing NYCHA through the Public Housing Preservation Trust, and delivering meaningful tax relief for New Yorkers with the Axe the Tax legislation. We also successfully secured billions in federal funding for New York City that we use to support our newly arrived asylum seeker families, countless large-scale infrastructure projects, and housing and public safety initiatives that directly improve the day-to-day lives of New Yorkers. I want to thank my amazing team spread across 4 offices in 3 cities, including Albany and Washington, D.C. And today, as we place this padlock into the time capsule, it represents our commitment to protecting all New Yorkers. As Deputy Mayor for Intergovernmental Affairs, it has been one of the greatest honors of my life to serve in this administration under your leadership, Mayor Adams. And I have to say, it's not bad for a little girl who grew up in Cooper Park houses in Brooklyn. This padlock marks a moment in our city's history when the city chose safety, responsibility, and put the safety and security of our seniors, men, women, children, and families first. Thank you. I'd now like to introduce my colleague, Chief Counsel to the Mayor, Allison Stoddard.
All right, hello. My name is Allison Stoddard. I serve as Chief Counsel to the Mayor and City Hall, and in that role, our team oversees the activities of about a dozen entities. These are the agencies, boards, and commissions that are the backbone of city government. They're the ones that support our operational agencies, quietly ensuring that city government keeps moving. People show up to work, invoices are paid, and the city keeps moving forward efficiently and with integrity. One area that both Mayor Adams and I are especially proud of is this administration's impressive record on settling union labor contracts. Our Office of Labor Relations, led by Commissioner Renee Campion, frequently known as Renee Champion, has settled labor agreements for 98.6% of our municipal workforce during the latest round of bargaining. That means that over 358,000 city employees saw salary increases of 16 to 19% over the course of new 5-year contracts. To represent this great work, I am contributing a mini Staten Island ferry, cute, right, to the Adams administration time capsule. I was going to say it's the cutest entry, but I think I might get some competition. So this Staten Island ferry reflects how our administration delivered a new contract for over 150 Staten Island Ferry captains, mates, and engineers in 2023. This was the longest labor contract in city history, 16 years, because the labor negotiations with this union had been unresolved through 2 prior administrations. This contract provided pattern-conforming wage increases dating back to 2010, which was the last time this union had a contract in place. This contract ensured that those who helped transport the 16 million New Yorkers between Staten Island and Manhattan each year get fair wages and more flexibility, and they get to go home to their families knowing that the city of New York has their back. Mayor Adams made a promise to be a 5-borough mayor who never forgets about New Yorkers no matter where they live. And with this small ferry and the big contract, as well as over 100 others executed during this administration, we are showing how we delivered for our city workers and for the people across the 5 boroughs. And with that, I will introduce DM Adolfo.
Right now, you know you have a good relationship with your colleagues when it's DM Adolfo. That's it. And privately, my stage name, also my rapper name is DMAC. That's what in the building. I'm Adolfo Carrion, Deputy Mayor for Housing, Economic Development, and Workforce. It's been the honor of my life to work in this building with this mayor and this team over the past 4 years as Housing Commissioner for 3.5 years, and for the last 10 months, 2 weeks, and 17 hours, but who's counting? Like so many families who moved from Puerto Rico to New York in the 1950s, my parents got their start in a Williamsburg sub-basement apartment. It was small, it was damp, but it was home. Through long hours, hard work, and my parents' ingenuity, we graduated and we made it into public housing to the Jacob Riis houses, then on to federally financed housing, and eventually we became homeowners for the first time in the county of the Bronx and entered the middle class. And when we came to office, and I remember standing right in this space when the mayor asked me to take on the reins of the housing agency of New York City, we wanted to make sure that that story, that my family's story, was still possible today. Our work during this administration has been nothing short of extraordinary. We began this administration with a city in distress and in need of strong leadership. In under 2 years, we not only brought back all of the jobs lost during the pandemic, we also broke the all-time New York City jobs record. And then we went on to break our own record 11 times. Forever Laurie's woo will be in this moment. We did it through bold, dedicated, and ambitious leadership, and we accomplished generation-defining projects that no one thought we could achieve. Like the Brooklyn Marine Terminal right at the mouth of New York Harbor, now going to be a modern electric terminal. Or the Kingsbridge Armory, one of the oldest armories in the United States, now to be an asset for that community, not a liability. We expanded our city's Blue Highways network at the Brooklyn Navy Yard and the Climate Center on Governor's Island, and we delivered massive projects that were stalled for decades, like transforming an entire area of the city into a new neighborhood at Willets Point. We strengthened and diversified our workforce by creating pathways for youth employment. We grew dedicated teen center spaces in our libraries, and we expanded our creative and cultural sectors. Q! We empowered small businesses, created new student loan debt relief measures, and raised the minimum wage for restaurant delivery workers. And on the housing front, we transformed the New York City Housing Authority getting the Historic Preservation Trust passed into law off the ground. We passed five historic neighborhood rezonings that will bring nearly 50,000 new homes to New York City. We diversified our city's landmarks. And we moved the review of over 2,700 public design projects, balancing respect for our history with growth to house the full ambitions of New York City's residents. And then there is this key. It says, besides what I'm going to say, on the back, I caught this, it says, do not duplicate. This can't be duplicated, ladies and gentlemen. A key we gave out when we passed the City of Yes, the largest rezoning in New York City history. We declared that our city is a city of yes, and we paved the way for the creation of 80,000 new homes and an additional $5 billion investment in our neighborhoods. We did that. These people behind me did that. In total, we created, preserved, or planned over 433,000 homes across New York City in 4 years. And we should be proud. Our city has more jobs, more homes, and more small businesses than ever before. And it would not have been done without the 300,000 public servants tirelessly giving their all for this city. Nor would it have been done without the vision and the leadership of the 110th mayor of the city of New York, Eric Adams. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Now, as a kid from the Bronx who was born in Brooklyn, I am so proud to say with certainty that we are leaving this city in a better place than when we started. So thank you to everyone who made this possible. I am now going to deliver this key to the time capsule. I'm going to do it the way you told me to do it. You heard that? That's inside stuff. I've been known for hamming it up a bit. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce my colleague and friend, Kaz Daughtry, the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety.
Thank you, DM. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's an honor to add a token to this time capsule on behalf of the public safety team that never stops getting stuff done for New Yorkers. Over the last few years, my office took on some of the toughest public safety challenges in the city, and we did it with focus, coordination, and compassion. But the item I'm placing in the time capsule today is a piece of one of our drones. It represents something even larger than any single initiative. This administration made a deliberate choice to embrace new technology, not shy away from it. That's why my office launched the Emerging Technology Committee to evaluate cutting-edge tools across all of the public safety agencies and determine if the ones that are working well can be adopted by the other teams. And that's why Mayor Adams created the Drone Operations Committee to expand the safe, responsible use of drones citywide. Drones have already helped us respond faster and better protect people in ways that simply wasn't possible a few years ago. Though our Drone as a First Responder program, drones can reach an incident in about 2.5 minutes, providing critical live view of the scene before officers and first responders even arrive. Drones have also been used to help save the lives of more than 200 kids who were caught subway surfing, some as young as 11 years old. And on our beaches this past summer, drones helped save more than 40 swimmers and provided early warning to beachgoers and spotted over 20 shark sightings, keeping beachgoers safe and also keeping first responders safe as well. This
is a small piece of hardware right here. I was debating between this or airtime when somebody takes this box and go on. This represents something more larger. This is a symbol of our commitment to innovation, to problem solving, to use every tool at our disposal, and to never being afraid to try something new if it's going to work to keep New Yorkers safe. We are here today to reflect on the incredible things that we have accomplished under Mayor Eric Adams' leadership for these past 4 years. But this time capsule is also about looking to the future. And it's a path and a path forward for new technology, new ideas, and a public safety system that is built not just for today's challenges, but for tomorrow's as well. Thankfully, we had a mayor who recognized that this technology is the future of public safety, and I have no doubt that the work we started here will keep New Yorkers safe for generations to come. Thank you. And now I would like to bring up DM Suzanne.
You've been saving for a while, my foot's asleep. Okay. Thank you, DM Kaz. Good morning, everyone. I'm Suzanne Mas-Gustav, Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services. This administration has worked to strengthen the bonds between our health and human services agencies to ensure every New Yorker engaged with our system receives integrated, comprehensive, and responsive services in the city. And we've done so much over the last year and across the entirety of the administration. We've helped more than 130,000 people secure stable housing. We've relieved $135 million in medical debt for 75,000 people, and much more relief to come. We've supported those touched by domestic and gender-based violence. We put millions of dollars to use to fight the opioid overdose crisis. We've expanded lifestyle medicine programs to give more people the chance that the mayor had to change his life and health trajectory. We've helped more than 1,200 people with disabilities find jobs. We've advanced a comprehensive mental health plan, including for our young people. We rewrote the playbook for serving those who are homeless, and especially those suffering from severe mental illness. We honored our veterans, and we made advancements to make our city more age-inclusive. And then something near and dear to my heart, and I know to the mayor's as well, is getting to the root causes and the challenges we face around maternal health and infant and child mortality. Mayor Adams took on this cause early on in his administration and never wavered. Thanks to our citywide doula initiative, over 3,500 mothers have been served since 2022 with no maternal deaths. And we've increased doula access by 25% across the city. And in October of this year, we announced a program through the Department of Social Services called Creating Real Impact at Birth, or CRIB, with an investment of $8.5 million to give pregnant people in shelter a faster track to housing vouchers to eliminate the number of children born in shelter. Along with that program, 4 of our New York City health and hospital locations launched a baby box program, giving new families the essentials after their newborn comes into the world, including resources for what to expect and how to connect with support. That's why I'm offering the cutest entry, this set of baby clothes, because New York loves me if I'm a baby. To represent all the strides this administration has made for young children and families, especially our most vulnerable. We have set a goal to ensure no child is born into shelter, and this onesie represents that. We know there's much, much more to do to tackle health inequities, with Black and brown communities still lagging far behind, specifically related to infant and child mortality, where rates are more than 2 times what they are for their white counterparts. But this is work that must continue. In closing, I want to thank you, Mayor Adams, for your dedication, and to all of our agencies in our portfolio. We're leaving connected and curious agencies and leaders across the Health and Human Services portfolio working together and devising strategies on tough issues such as infant and child mortality. We have a task force that does that. and they're ready to carry their efforts into the next administration. We've been at the forefront of serving New Yorkers when they most need support, and we've done so much to help make those lives of all those New Yorkers healthier and more fulfilling. The work we've started, yes, will persist, and our legacy will remain long into the future. Thank you all. And it's my pleasure to call up DM Jeff Roth.
Good morning. My name is Jeff Roth. I'm the Deputy Mayor for Operations. And Mayor Adams, it's been an honor to serve you and this administration and the city's operational agencies and the public servants who keep the city moving every single day. We had so many initiatives, from containerization to scaffolding to advancing climate and flood resilience projects, delivering safer streets and public spaces, expanding accessibility, and modernizing core city operations by coordinating across agencies to move faster and smarter. One initiative that stands as testament of government innovation is the trash revolution and the containerization pilots in West Harlem and downtown Brooklyn. Early data show meaningful reductions in rat complaints, along with cleaner sidewalks and safer working conditions for sanitation workers. It's a modern solution to a decades-old problem, and it proves that when government focuses on outcomes, innovation doesn't have to be complicated. So I've got this miniature trash can, which, be careful, it might fall off. It doesn't fit a banana peel. Represents a city willing to modernize and a team committed to delivering results New Yorkers can see on their blocks. And I will say this, while this is one small trash can for a time capsule, it is one giant leap for a city.
Just as with my Chief of Staff, I want to introduce my first Deputy Mayor. Many people walk out of a room when you are in need, and very few walk in. Randy was treated unfairly when he went to become a court counsel. He was disrespected. He was humiliated in front of his family and countless number of people who came to support him. And by any other standard, a person would say, I don't need this, I don't need to deal with putting my life and my family on the line. But he didn't do that. When I called our first Deputy Mayor during probably one of the most challenging times in this administration and asked for his steady hand, his leadership, his vision, and asked him to come and join us, he did not hesitate. He asked me, where do I sign up? And, serving under previous administration, the Giuliani administration, being a well-known attorney to deal with civil rights issues and so many other issues, having his experience and expertise, partnering with Allison on some of the legal issues, but even the vision, some of the important items, what he did at the Elizabeth Street Garden, getting almost 6 times the amount of housing, what he did around the benevolence of the horse carriage industry, and so many more. But just personally, what he has done for me. I want to thank you for being there during a very, very difficult time for me. And it just showed me that there are still good human beings that believe in you and will stand with you. I want to introduce our first Deputy Mayor, Randy Mastro.
Wow. I'm all for claps now. Well, the first will go last. It's the honor of a lifetime to be able to serve this city in City Hall, an honor I've now had twice. And while it took me nearly 30 years to get back here, and it may take 30 more years for me to get back here again, I better say what I have to say now. And by the way, I have a lot to say.
We gotta still bury the thing.
Yes, I know. Don't worry. Yeah, it'll be good. So let me just say this. Proud of so many things that this team has achieved in such a short period of time. Proud of a budget the mayor called the best budget ever. Even the city council speaker said it was as close to perfect as she'd experienced, and then passed the city council unanimously, which hasn't happened in many years. Proud that despite those who thought we couldn't work with the city council and other elected officials to get things done, over the past 9 months, we passed 4 major neighborhood rezonings, including the largest in city history, five overall, and close to 50,000 units of housing. We passed the expansion of Hudson Yards, producing even more affordable housing. We passed the rezoning relating to the Kingsbridge Armory. We passed the Brooklyn Marine Terminal Market supermajority vote of elected officials and community representatives, producing thousands more affordable housing units, and we effectively sustained mayoral veto of the Bally's Casino project, which led to it getting licensed so that there will be thousands of jobs now coming to the Bronx and many, many millions of dollars of economic activity because that casino project is going forward. Proud to have been part of an administration that created the first mayor's office to combat anti-Semitism of any city in this country. And to have followed that on with initiatives that practiced what we preach and say to every community in this city, you are included and protected. And proud of so many other achievements. I could go on and on, but you can read another 40 of them in my 5-page single-space resignation letter. But I'm here today to talk about an initiative that was particularly near and dear. It's about quality of life. It's about public safety and protecting New Yorkers. And that's our bike lanes, where too many e-bikes were speeding, causing injuries, had uncertified ion batteries that imploded into fires, no identification, no protection for workers, and not enough enforcement. It took a multi-agency effort to put together a plan to address it. Now, when I arrived here, somebody said, oh, got to leave it to the city council. Leave it to the city council. No, we didn't leave it to the city council. We said, got to reduce those speed limits. So that is why I have a speedometer set at 15 miles an hour, because that is the speed limit that we adopted. And they said, oh, couldn't get people to go along. Oh, City Bike would never do that. They agreed to the 15 miles an hour and set all their speedometers at 15 miles an hour in less than 24 hours. And working with DOT and fire and police and so many others, we have made this scourge that was going on, the danger that was going on bike lanes, we have made them safer. Still much work to be done. Increased enforcement through DOT, working with the NYPD. Crackdowns on uncertified ion batteries. Making our bike lanes safer for New Yorkers and pedestrians. That's the kind of legacy, that's the kind of innovation of this administration, of which I am very proud. And I will say, as a second-generation Italian American, in closing, I paraphrase the immortal Frank Sinatra. We did it our way. Now, I have the honor of asking to come back to the microphone a man whose administration, this great team behind us, reduced crime to record lows, increased jobs to record highs, created affordable housing at an unprecedented rate. It's a legacy to be proud of. Mayor Eric Adams.
Record jobs, record homes, record small businesses, record early childhood education enrollment, record investments in homelessness, record safety. That's a record I can live on.
Take a record out.
Go ahead, tell me what I'm doing. Oh, okay, you got more in there.
No, it's a record.
Oh, you become a prop master like me. So I don't know if they use records anymore. But to these young people who are sitting in front, this is a record. We used to play music on this. What school are you from? Huh? What school are you from? I'm sorry? All over, different schools? Good stuff. You know, what else we are proud of? When I look over at JR, when I first came in office, brother, they didn't look like you. We diversified his press corps. You know, they fought us not to put a desk in room 9. And we fought like heck to make sure that we could get it done. And throughout all the time, they tried to get legislation passed to stop us, but we got it done. And we've always had her yell out at every press conference. So we're used to that. We're used to that. And so we're going to move on to the next level, and that's to bury our time capsule. And it's good to see faces like you and some of my other folks that are here. Thank you very much.
Stay focused, no distractions, and grind. Arrested, dyslexic, rejected, now I'm elected. If you don't educate, you will incarcerate. I'm true blue collar, and I'm true red, white, and blue. H-to-the-N to the E-R. I'm a working class New Yorker. H-to-the-N to the E-R. I love this city, and I give this city my heart. What did we accomplish? We have put $30 billion back into the pockets of working class people. More jobs are in New York in the city's history. More small businesses in the city's history. We dropped unemployment citywide, but particularly in the black and brown community, we dropped unemployment by over 20%. We got rid of city income taxes for working class families. We wiped out medical debt for low-income New Yorkers. This administration has been the most pro-housing administration in the history of this city. Moved more people out of homelessness into permanent housing. We're paying the college tuition of foster care children, giving them life coaches until they're 21 years old. We have increased the number of PK and 3K seats, more seats than the history of the city. We are having universal after-school program. We removed over 25,000 illegal guns off our streets. We have the lowest number of shootings recorded in the history of this city. We drove down transit crime and delivered some of the safest subways in history. We removed over 125,000 illegal scooters, dirt bikes, and ghost cars.
Come on, yeah, come on. H to the N to the E-R.